VDC, we are back for the third consecutive season. Listen. I know last season we had some rough patches, spotty uploads here and there, but hey, I'm not admin anymore. I have a lot more time on my hands. In fact, most of my VDC time is going to be towards the podcast and other socials related stuff because I'm now the social media head. But we will get into that with the first segment of the podcast, which is off-season changes. We got a jam-packed schedule for you today. We got off-season changes, some combine standouts, trying to hit every single tier, and even an interview with L7 champions from Prospect. It's going to be a banger. First episode is going to be a banger first season. I'm joined with my boy, Jordo. But wait, there's even more. We have a brand new member of the podcast in talks of off-season changes. Ty, say what's up, man.
It's me. I'm back from returning guest to co-host. We did it.
Yeah,
precisely.
We had to purchase the Mythic podcast. We don't want competition, so we just had to acquire you.
They bummed me out.
We had to
Don't tell
Google
Parkzilla.
No.
Yeah, we saw the competition. We were like, yo, cut that shit out. No,
Shout out Pizzle, by the way.
We're glad to have you. We've been looking for another good personality to have on the podcast, and after our unreleased podcast and our released version of the podcast,
that's right, yeah,
over 2 hours of footage, we knew that he was going to be a really good fit, and conversation flowed really well. So everybody give Ty a warm welcome and make him feel good in the comments down below. I mean, we got the best player in VDC probably on the podcast now, so if he says it, it's got to be true now, right?
Too kind.
But yeah, no, a lot of exciting changes. We have a brand new, pretty much admin group now. Paco left us. Queenie left us. Connor or FS left us. Sorry.
Wait, dog's his government name.
And then then something else occurred. But without further ado, we got VK returning. Leading the charge there.
Right and true. Let's go.
Followed by Ace. Shout out MF Ace. Everybody knows Ace from MF. Longtime GM, great person there. Shiro, the former transactions team lead, a lot of experience with the league and kind of the infrastructure side. Right. Really good addition there. Danny, the former PN general manager, now steps in. I've heard great things about Danny. Never talked to Danny before myself, but I've heard great things. So keep doing you, Danny. The league's in good hands. And then our boy Andy J, I'm a numbers guy. Andy's a numbers guy. A lot of fun working with him on numbers, and I'm excited to see the cool things that Andy can do as an admin to help the league grow. So really exciting there for the new admins, and congratulations to all of you. You guys all deserve it, and round of applause for the admins.
Yeah, round of applause. Shout out to Shiro, by the way, from OS Mythic to now running the league.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Oh man, I'm spoiling. Well, it's okay. Everybody realistically knows.
There's no way no one doesn't know. I mean, that's a perfect segue to our next segment. The new franchises. Yeah. There's a lot of growth. Shout out the socials team for the growth. I mean, we're excited to see the new player counts rising.
500.
Shout out Cole. I want to give him a platform. Great editor, really creative video ideas, and really well executed on the TikTok page, and partnership with Rafa and Paco over there on the socials and graphics team. Congratulations, Paco, too. I guess while we're at it, socials head now.
Thank you.
You're just going through the journeyman. You're the journeyman of VDC.
It's honestly, it's been a blast. I didn't this was my original plan, was to do socials or like be a socials head going into last season. But then the opportunity arose for admin, and I was like, well, surely I can do
Unlimited power,
everything.
why not, right?
Yeah, I was like, surely I
Like,
can do everything
whoa.
that I want to do with socials as an admin.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I could not. I had no time for socials basically, and obviously the podcast upload schedule reflected that. But
Yeah, guys, it wasn't my
we're here
fault.
now.
Blame him. Blame the guy above me. That
Yeah,
wasn't my fault. I was here. I was available. But this guy works a full-time job and
I
another
was recording
full-time
Phantom
job.
episodes.
yeah, full time, part time. It was getting a little hectic, but hey, I'm stoked for the new admin team. Honestly, I think they're doing an excellent job. As an advisor, every once in a while, peek in, see what's going on. Honestly, we're in good hands. We're in good hands. Andy was a former member of the pod, right?
Andy was on
Andy
the
J?
pod at one point. Yes,
He was? Okay,
I
okay.
believe so. He
With
was
the
on there for
OS,
the championship OS team.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
So,
because it was Andy and Thornilly, I think.
uh-huh. It's crazy.
Oh,
We've had
Yeah.
wow.
2 podcast hosts that have now, or guests that have now became admins of the.
Yeah, VDC alumni.
And then we had
Oh,
Blind. Do we have
VK?
Ace or do we had Blind on the podcast from MF, not
Yeah, we
Ace?
had blind. Yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're
I was
right.
gonna say maybe we had 3 of the 5. That'd have been pretty crazy, but maybe we gotta
What do
get
we
Basically,
get
together.
VK
what
on
we're
here?
saying is,
We
if
need to
you
get
ever
together,
want to be
admin.
admin, start by getting on the podcast, because then apparently your odds just skyrocket.
Well, you're spoiling next season, bro.
Your pathway, yeah, Ty's next.
Yeah, Ty's gonna be
Bremy,
admin next season, Gordo.
Bremy
Both of you.
2026.
That'd be crazy,
The season
but
is
yeah,
in good hands.
No,
dude,
I do not aspire to be
for
an
real.
admin.
No, me either. Yeah, for the
Having
record.
to manage at work in your real life and then having to go and manage for fun league would make it not for
Yeah,
fun league for me. So
that's totally fair.
I'm all good on that part. But for those that aspire to do it, I highly suggest if you're
No, you're
passionate
right.
to apply next season potentially. There will be one
Yeah,
spot at least available, but
right.
because VK
Wait, why's that?
unfortunately will have to leave us after his 2 terms. I guess he'll have to
I
re-elect.
can
Oh,
But
there's
rerun.
terms? I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that.
yeah, it's 2 seasons,
Hmm.
and then
Okay.
if you want to stay on, you have to
You can.
rerun. Yeah.
Hmm.
Got you.
Yeah.
But
It's in the
to
VDC
get back
Constitution.
We're
to
gonna take him out back.
get back onto the schedule, because we like to go on tangents here.
We do.
Especially now we got 3 of us, 3 tangent people. Yeah,
Three yappers.
We got
it's gonna
3
be an
active brain
interesting
cells floating
season.
in
Yeah,
here.
but we got 5 sort of new franchises. Really 4. 2 rebrands and like a rebrand ish. But we have 2. Let's start with the 2 brand new franchises. We got Thermals.
Woo!
Jordo, our podcast member, is now an AGM
Congratulations.
for Thermals. Yes,
Thank you. Thank
congrats.
you.
Love to see him back in the driver's seat.
It was a short intermission. I went on a vacation from GM Hub and I came back, so now I'm back in there. I missed everybody, but you couldn't get rid of me that easy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Then we got Wolfstara. That is
Yeah.
Drisk's new franchise.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
Yeah,
Thermals is Nuclear
shout out
Cat's new
Noob
franchise. Yep, yep.
and
Our
Axe as well.
production manager, by the way, for all the streams. Shout out
Yeah.
our prod team. Love that.
Yeah.
Honestly, Drisk is also kind of on the prod team.
Yeah,
With
he's
staffing.
the production.
Mm-hmm.
He's the stream head or whatever it's called.
Yep. So
Mhm.
so he now has his own franchise, Wolfstara.
Their
Former
logos and
member of
color
the
scheme are
pod?
so nice, by the way.
Yeah, no, the wolf
The-
looks cool
yeah.
with the orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have GG, aka Galactic Gladiators, who are the successors of the Omnipotent Sandwiches OS. Our other member of the podcast, Ty Zera, is currently a member of that franchise. Huge, great representation there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what we
shout
can
out Bomber.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out
Bomber,
Bomber.
the new GM.
Bomber's a goat. Shout out Bomber.
And then Me, we have one more. Rebrand, repositioning, whatever you want to call it. PA is no longer, and now it is called the Symphony, and that's where I come in. That is where I represent. Still on Symphony, baby. Let's make some music. Let's
Yeah.
Wait,
let's
I
play
did not
some.
know you
Let's
joined
play some
Symphony.
tunes. Mhm.
Not
No, I was on PA.
franchise management.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
okay,
just on
got you.
he's just a
Okay.
player.
Yeah,
shout
yeah.
out,
So
shout
I
out
just kind of like got
Bob,
grandfathered in there.
shout out Bobbert, shout out Poom, shout out the Ventari. I think.
Yes, but then we have kind of an honorable mention. So with this following season, Danny became an admin, so now she can't be GM anymore. So we got a new GM, and that made room for a new AGM of PN. And who took that spot? None other than Rafa, aka King, who just so happens to be our graphics
The
head.
goat. The goat.
And with that,
No, it was Hermes.
no,
Hermes is the GM.
no, yeah, no,
Another
I'm saying he's
goat.
AGM.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Hermes. Yeah. How could you forget about the tadpole, man? You can't leave the tadpole out.
Mhm. Hey, man, I love tadpoles, especially when they're swimming in the bunkers of the drowning golf courses. Love it.
Yucky.
But
Get the
with
shop
that
back
came a
out.
new yeah, right? A
Literally.
new PN logo. We're leaving Microsoft Paint in the past. Now
W
we have
update, by the way.
Photoshop
Mhm.
and Illustrator and all that. Great redesign. It's on your screen now, like here or like
bottom right,
there.
the bottom right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make it hard
one
for
of
the
those
editor.
areas.
Just add explosions, you know?
Bam, 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 boom. boom. But that basically concludes all of the offseason changes. We got admin teams, franchises, socials heads,
So many.
others, a bunch of them. But
Yeah.
but yeah, with that being said,
One little tidbit, real quick. If you are interested in playing for the Thermals or being noticed in the drafts, shoot a DM to Nuclear Cats, Brimmy at the Hemi, or Axe in the prospect tier. Or any franchise that you're interested in.
there you go.
Free agents,
Any
NDs,
franchise,
please,
reach out.
please
Reach out
reach
to the
out.
franchise managers.
Shameless
Yeah.
plugs. The sellouts. They're all sellouts. Speaking of which, GG is hiring. Feel free to apply.
Yeah, we got a lot of empty offices we're looking to fill with some great characters and great players. So, I had to shamelessly plug it. I mean, I got slipped a $5 from Nuclear Cats to give a shout out, so I had to.
That's too good, man. But
Who
with
thought
that
I'd
being
pay to be a
said,
co-host?
with that being said, let's move on to the meat and potatoes. Who is standing out in the combines of each tier? We got prospect, apprentice, expert, mythic. We got plenty of players to choose from, but we're only picking 3. It's basically like we're the fantasy footballers, except it's combines instead of preseason, and it's VDC and not the NFL.
Cue the Sunday night music.
Whatever.
Can we get
It's got to
somebody
be the
in
most exciting time, no?
Can I? Somebody in the comments, can you please, for our predictions, can you please get on a recorder and record the Sunday Night Football anthem, and then send a video file to us so we can input it in the next episode, please?
Throw Carrie Underwood on here. We got to get Carrie Underwood cameo.
Mhm.
Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? Like, love that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, prospect here. Ty, what?
Big.
Who are some?
They got
standouts for you?
shooters. They got shooters. Every
They got
season,
shooters.
every season, I'm shocked by the amount of shooters in the lower tiers. I always assume, I'm like, wrongfully so. I'm like, oh man, they must all be terrible down there. And then I just see some demons down there. And I did get to pour over the stat sheets a little bit. And someone that really impressed me was Domo the Llama. And I think that's going to be a name that we're going to be hearing a lot of. I took a look at their trackers and a couple of their custom games to see how they were doing in combines, and they're kind of a fill master. They play a little bit of everything, and they always kill it. They got MVPs on Initiator, on Controller, even on Duelist, and not just like Flash Initiators, but they're playing Recon Initiators. I mean, they're doing everything down there. They're killing it.
That's just the
Love that.
definition of Himothy.
Yeah,
Wait.
literally. I don't see a single weakness that he has because he's trading. He's got good casts. He's taken like a couple first engagements. He's taking risks too. It's not like he's a perfect player. It's not like he's smurfing because like one thing I noticed on his account is he has a lot of first deaths, which is something that's kind of dangerous. I think when you're worried about a controller player, but I mean he's making up for it. He's
That's
winning
true,
more duels
that's
than he's
true.
losing.
I do know he has a crazy ACS as well. I mean, I did some stats digging as well.
Mhm.
Because I haven't watched any prospect games. I'm also not a scout, so my my vision of view here is very limited. So for prospect here, I will say I did just skim over the names. I looked at
No love for
some
prospect.
stats. I was like, some of these guys got crazy stats and some of them got crazy names, and I love it. So I'm just gonna run through my list real quick and then pass the mic because they got better insight than I do here. Number one on my list, Sen Radiance. We have a member from Sentinels in prospect, like GG's.
He just
Hello?
kind of has to go well. He's making it to champions minimum, right?
I
Playoffs
know, like
minimum.
he just beat G2. Like this guy must be insane. Insane. Um Next on my list, I have Petrichor, former Apprentice player, by the way. I'm sure they're killing it in prospect. A couple seasons ago, or maybe no, it was a couple, yeah, because this is season 8. A couple seasons ago, they got moved up, played as tier min apprentice for High Tide. High Tide did pretty well. There's some funny clips of Petrichor shooting at their teammates and stuff like, but hey,
Shout out Sunset.
they're a stellar player, especially in prospects. So I didn't even need to look at the stats. I know that they're pretty good.
Mhm.
And last on my list, Tamale hashtag dog. Probably a dog in the server. He's got a 270 or 271 ACS across 9 games. I mean, that's pretty
Not
good.
bad. Yeah, not
That's
Yeah.
bad
pretty
at
good.
all.
Yeah.
So and Tamale, like that's a sick name. Hot tamale, you know what I mean?
He's
So
got my vote on Mexican. I'm already ready.
I love it. So there's the extremely limited view from someone who has not interacted with prospect at all this season. I
Yeah.
will now pass the mic to
Yeah,
the scouts.
for all intensive purposes, I also put Domo the llama. I mean, I think the stats kind of speak for itself and the versatility. I think Domo has really showcased a lot of what they can do on a lot of different roles, and so I think that whatever team gets them will have a lot of bad problems where they or I guess a good problem where they can put them on any agent probably to fill the
Right.
needs of the team, which is really good and cool to see there. I also went with Elijah and Zevi Games. I mean, both of them are frying right now. The stats speak for themselves. They're really great players, and I've gotten to watch some of their games. Really, all the people mentioned Snake. I've seen them in game, and they've been playing and performing really well. So, and just kind of a preface, if you're not on this list, it doesn't think that you're not doing stellar. It's just generally we pick 3. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people arguably that could be on this list, so don't feel discouraged or like we're
Yeah.
shortchanging you or anything like that. We'll come out with plenty of these when the season starts. We'll have MVP predictions, all that fun stuff. So we'll see you if you're one of those players that maybe we left off. So
There's also way more players this season than ever before.
mhm.
So
100%. Yeah.
even with that, like our percentage, even if we're doing the same amount of people, like our percentage of people that we're getting is like shrinking. So
Yeah.
And there's
I know,
so
but
many
like we gotta
people.
keep time. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can't be talking about one tier for an hour, or else we're gonna have 4 hour podcast episode.
Yeah,
But
No, I feel there's
that'd
so
be
many
thin.
deserving people.
Mhm.
well, really quick to jump in, before you finish your list, Ty.
Yeah.
Uh, our standouts from last season, Razorline, aka Rue, got moved up to Apprentice, played really well in Apprentice. Hushu, hashtag Talon. His team made playoffs, KC, and honestly, he dropped 52 in a set, so that was pretty good. Wanderer was on our list. Wanderer won in Apprentice, like literally the whole thing. So that was a swing and a absolute smash that thing out of the park. And Ethan, Burley Ethan, I think their full
Went to
IGN
grand
is
finals,
went to
finished
grand
first in
finals
regular
in
season.
Prospect.
Wait, so
So
basically, if you show up on the VDC podcast, you're guaranteed
Mhm.
success.
Good things
yeah,
happen,
basically,
apparently.
if you draft any of the players that we just mentioned, you're winning something or you're making the playoffs, like
That's a
minimum.
guarantee.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, like, I think that everyone that we're mentioning right now has a chance. I think it kind of helps too when we're just pouring over numbers. Like I said,
Yeah.
it helps when he has 300 ACS and they're averaging 400 ACS in some of their combine games. I can expect him to do well on the server. My last shout out is actually Flo. I want to give him a shout out to, or she, or they, or whoever. It's 8137. They have actually been killing it pretty hard in combines too, and they have quite a large number played. And they're kind of another Phil Andy, and I think they're a little bit hit or miss. But I think what they really, really shine on is when they play Sentinel. So if you're a prospect team looking for a solid Sentinel, I would definitely take a look at Flo because they are killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the person from Progressive?
Yeah, I think so.
That's the chick from Progressive.
She's helping you drive
Flo?
better too, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you what.
saving on car insurance and all that, bundling home and auto and all that.
Who doesn't
And
love a good bundle and save?
I
Bundle
know.
and save.
I mean, sign me up. I mean, car insurance in Florida is literally like $250 a month. It's crazy.
I mean, just bundle Flow with a VDC championship, and that could be yours.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
no
you
kidding.
go.
I'll have to look into that. Got to figure out how to save.
That's about
All
all I
right.
got for Prospect. Let's move on to Apprentice. They get a little bit more love anyway than
Sweet.
Prospect usually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is my cup of Joe. This is my cup of tea in the morning. Wake up, get a little sip of Apprentice. All right. This is my domain. Some may know me by the thumbs down guy. I love it here. So I've done all my combines in Apprentice. So like I said, I'm
many
not
is
a
that?
scout. I'm fact checking right now.
I mean, are you approaching like Flow numbers, like 30, 40 games?
Definitely not.
Oh, okay,
14.
never mind. Okay, that's a lot more than I played.
Well, it's
Across
tough to get
14 games.
It's tough to get 14 games in Mythic, to be fair.
No, it is. Yeah.
That's sorry, yeah. So 14 games. I have 3, sort of 4, because I have like an honorable mention that I didn't put on this list because I made the list before combines yesterday, and then I played with this one guy, my honorable mention, like over and over again, and he was pretty damn good. But I have number 1, Aether. Honestly, guy's just pretty cracked, man. I may have a little bit of bias. I know he likes to play Breach. I like to play Breach also. But I mean, he's a stellar player. He was always shooting. Had pretty good util. What more can you ask from a Breach player? You know what I'm saying? But let me see. 234 ACS across 20 games, not too shabby. And 138 assists. I'd say that's pretty solid. I see someone who has 151 assists across 28 games, and he only has 20. So shout out Aether. I have a little bit of a sleeper pick. I had a few interactions with this player, but they're pretty solid. And the stats may not back it up, but that's why I have the sleeper next to it because he impressed me. I got Zeno spelled with 2 X's, not to be confused from season 6. Honestly, I really didn't have much to say. Good comms, good gameplay, pretty good awareness. I thought they were a stellar player. But yeah, no, like Zeno, solid player. He makes the list and is a potential sleeper pick in my opinion. So like late round draft picks for all the GMs.
I like that. I like that pick. I like the idea. I really didn't take a look at that. Like a little bit of the sleeper picks, I kind of went for the obvious standouts, but I think that's actually smart. I think there's a lot of players like that are going to go under the radar. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a change to mine too, because I think you're right. I think those kind of
Oh,
players need a shout out.
love that. Love that. Last on my list, I've got tinfoil. I mean, I played probably like 2 games with this guy, and both of them like damn near 30 bombs. So I
Right.
mean, he's cracked. That's or she. I don't know what their pronouns are. I didn't look, so I apologize. But um, they're just different. I
And
know
who
they
was
play
that?
Clove, tinfoil.
Okay,
They're
nice. I
they're
did see them
just
on there.
they're just different. I mean, they're a good player. They have good positioning. I don't know how else you can get that many kills if your positioning or crosshair placement is bad. So, um, well played. Then my honorable mention, I have Dumber. Another player with around like a 210 ACS, so like not like crazy high, like they're absolutely smurfing or something. But I saw them on Deadlock. I saw them on Breach. I think I saw them on another agent, but I don't remember. But they were playing really stellar games yesterday, so I want to give them an honorable mention because they impressed me and were hitting some crispy one taps. Made it look like he was me.
That's you. I mean, what role do you value the most when you're looking in combines? Do you look for like initiators and sentinels more? Or are you looking at duelists or like? I know you have a three there. You have an initiator, you have a duelist, and you have a sentinel player all on that list. Are you kind of like just whoever strikes your fancy, or is it like are you looking for something when you're playing your games?
Honestly, I think I notice initiators more because that's my role.
Right.
So it's easy to pick up on like, oh yeah, that was good. Or
That
like
guy's
if
good. Yeah.
somebody's bad at initiating, I'm like, okay, like I could do better. You know what I mean?
Right.
But obviously, I'm not gonna just like say that to their face. You know what I mean? It's something that I internalize and keep
Yeah.
to
Of
myself.
course. Of course.
Um, but no, I mean realistically, if I'm like scouting, I'm never looking for an initiator because
You're playing the
I'm the
role.
initiator.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so it just kind of like happens. Whoever I feel like is just sitting me, I'm like, damn.
Right. That's for me. It's like Sentinels for me. Like when I notice a good Sentinel, it's like, man, they're making my life a nightmare. Especially as a duelist player, like that's your direct adversary every time you're taking a site. So it's like I definitely pick up on those players the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I personally put two chamber players on my list.
Mm.
Ooh,
I just want to give a
bold.
shout out to Winter. Really solid stats across the amount of maps that they've played, and I've played in a couple combines with Winter. A really chill person, and pretty solid player overall. And then also shout out Wander. I put Wander back on the list. Free agent Wanderer this year. No longer LG Wander. Dun dun
Hmm.
dun.
Ooh.
And Wander, great player, really good aim, and also really solid IGLing that I've seen throughout the combines. Just experiencing it, playing with Wander or against Wander. So keep it up, great work there, and really good stats to back it up too for IGLing most of the time too. And then
Yeah, that's
also,
true.
I couldn't make this list without giving my boy Crazen a shout out. Crazen was in the league whenever I first started. Took a little hiatus and came back, and has really impressed me. Really solid stats, and you know, um, the lurk potential and things like that are really off the charts. So that's my three there. Three lurkers really, but I'm a sentinel player, so I like
Right.
I like the
Can
lurking.
appreciate a good timing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that I mean I'm a duelist player, so the first person I looked at was definitely a duelist. I was looking at Isagi under 20 immediately. He was going super crazy in combines, and he's got a nuts ACS. And he's playing all kinds of duelists, which is kind of something that struck my mind. Is earlier he was picking up Raze, and I was like, all right, well that's cool. He plays Raze, but then like, do you ever know how to play the other ones? Like obviously Jet. Most people if they can play Raze can play Jet, but then he was playing out Neon, and he wasn't even afraid. He went even when he played close. So it shows that he has a pretty good understanding of like at least entry duelist diving, which I think at that level it's kind of all you really need if you're
Yeah,
comfortable.
multifaceted. I like it.
Yeah, if you're comfortable being like aggressive on the dive duelist and you're still MVPing, then yeah, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? You want your duelist to not be able to just run in there and feed. And the second one I had was you know, I think you mentioned him, but it was Tinfoil. I mean, Tinfoil was kind of going nuclear. I mean, you were not wrong about that. I'm looking at his Yoru, and I'm gonna have to ask him for some Yoru tips because that's the one duelist that I haven't picked up, and
Dang.
it's so meta right now. And he's MVP in every game, so like, yeah, I might need some lineups. Shout out Tinfoil.
I didn't even play against Tinfoil when they were on Duelist, so props.
Oh, really?
I didn't.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's got like 20 duelist games. They're all Yoru, and he's just MVP, 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 MVP. Like, man,
Dang.
Fair enough.
that's my final shout out. I think
Love
the third one's a sleeper. Oh,
Oh,
no, it's not. No, it's not. I lied. I almost lost them in translation. It's Enigma 5 Zinc or 5 Ink. And I wanted to give them a shout out for a very specific reason. I actually took someone else off the list on them because they had such a nuts cast. They were trading so efficiently. Their average cast, kill assist trades or rounds survived was 81% in like 36 games. They were one of the
That's
most
crazy.
played combine games. Like they have some of the most oh my god, English. They had some of the most combine games played, and their cast was absolutely insane. So I think that is a huge green flag. One thing I was kind of concerned at is that he looked like he was playing like a mix between duelist and initiator, but he kind of seems like his bread and butter is an initiator, and he plays a perfect second entry because he's fighting and dueling with his duelist.
For primary.
And I love that. Yeah. So he's getting that trade every time. And 81% average over that kind of games. I mean, that is crazy. I don't think we saw anybody with those kind of numbers during the season. If he gets even close to that, like even within like 5% of that during the season, that's going to be huge.
Yeah. What speaking of cast though, like every season you look at the teams who win, and like the across the board, like the team casts are like minimum 75, 76, 77. Like like everybody's hovering around those high 70s.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like this team just plays with each other and
Yep.
and gets it. Like, there's obviously teams who just has that like absolute demon on it. You know what I mean? And you can't escape that. But at the end of the day, the team that plays together the most wins.
It's a team game.
It's
a team game.
So yeah.
I mean, shout out that boy Brimit the Hemi, that 80 cast. Sheesh.
I like that.
Who's that guy? I need him. But
Shout out Enigma though, actually though. Nuts
Yeah,
nuts
no,
performance in
that's
combines.
impressive.
Yeah,
30,
seriously.
30 maps too. It's really impressive.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
Yeah. So moving on to expert. Once again, I have no expert combine experience, and I'm not a scout, so I didn't do the name trick like I did with prospect, but I did look into some stats, and there were some players that I thought were pretty solid. One, Zeruko, not necessarily a new player, which I tried to keep new players on the list because everybody already knows the established ones. But Zeruko was literally on the second place team last season. We all know that they're a good player. They're currently in FA. Let's get him signed. Let's get him signed. I know he's got some good impact on a roster if you're coming in second place. Next up on my list, I have Dylan CS. We have a crazy history of like CS players making the transition to Valorant. I mean, we have the CSC like kind of hand in hand. It's basically the CS version of VDC, or we're the VDC version of CSC, I guess, or Valorant version of CDC, CSC. Oh my god. And those players always have like really correct aim, but sometimes struggle to figure out the game mechanics, and then by the end of the season they end up like figuring it out, and obviously their aim is there. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season this guy is just an absolute demon. Last, I have Oz Troha or OZ Troha. Good stats. Also, my Spanish teacher's my Spanish teacher's name in high school was Senora Troja, so I had to throw him on there. But they have a 260 ACS across 13 games. That's pretty solid. 265 kills. I mean, it's just stellar. It's just stellar gameplay. I don't know what else to. I don't know what else to say. It's just a stellar player, and I thought he deserved the spot.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Nah, not to interject, but I just kind of agree with that. I also have him on there just because I mean you're right. Those kind of stats over that amount of games is great. Same reason.
Thank you.
yeah, I went with a couple of people that I've been impressed with their improvement. And one being a player that moved up quite a few tiers from last season. But you know, I had Zinx on there. I thought Zinx was really impressive. Their stats
Mm,
back it up. They've been frying really. And then I kind of went for
facts.
like two kind of like sleeper picks that I think just impressed me. First being Wea, I think coming from prospect and then performing as well as they are in expert tier kind of speaks volumes to what they're capable of. I know they're a CS player that came over from CSC to the VDC, and clearly is very talented and has really good aim, and the stats are pretty good for being a player that just came from prospect a season before. We've had people like Ash and a couple other people that have made a jump like that before that have had really good seasons. I mean, Ash went and was an all-star after moving to expert from prospect, so really cool to see there. And then also, finally, Free. I think this player, really good role player, really good teammate, and really good comms. I think it kind of gets overlooked a lot, and so I just wanted to highlight them. I think any team that has Free will be, um, lucky to have them. I think they're a solid player. So I think just trying to give
I
them
love that.
some roses too, just because I think they deserve them. I think they get undervalued sometimes. So um,
Yeah,
that's my take.
100%. No, I agree. I love that. I wish I could have been more involved with some of these games. I think the Mythic games were kind of the only ones that I have a lot of insight into. But yeah, I feel bad because if there weren't so many just Mythic demons in that lobby right now, like I would love to give a shout out to a couple people specifically just for their comms because you're right. I think those go under the radar a lot during the draft, and it's only the players that play the combines or have played with them can give them a shout out. And I know mid-season, like with OS, that was something that I kind of kicked into, and I was like, "Hey guys, remember what I like said in my top 5 prospects?" I mean, before I even knew you guys had a podcast going, I had done like my 5 mythic, prospects or whatever, just because I thought it was fun.
Hmm.
And players remember that. Talk during guys' games. Don't get toxic. Don't get tilted. Because like, I promise you, like even if you don't get the team that you want right away, players are going to remember how you performed in those combines, and it's not only one of the most exciting and fun times, but like you make a lot of connections in those first couple games because first impressions matter.
Mhm.
And shout out all the good commenters, shout out all the IGLs, shout out to all the people that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess leading into that, I'll go into mine. I also had Zinx. I thought Zinx was performing admirably just on the numbers. I haven't got to watch any other games individually, but I mean, kind of hard to compete with another Yoru player. It's like all these duelists that play Yoru are just different. You know what I mean? He also did a good job of filling. Like I took a look through his tracker, and he really plays every role, so it kind of shows that he's just adaptable. He definitely seems to be comfortable on random maps because I was looking through his match history, and he has like a 20% win rate on some of these maps. And like when he plays Omen, for example, he loses every game. When he plays Viper, he wins every game. When he plays, Yoru wins every game. So he seems to be a very hit or miss player, but I think that can be a hugely sustainable thing if someone decides like, hey, this is the role that we want you on. And it's like if he's putting this kind of numbers up, like this kind of ACS on like general gameplay during combines with random teammates and random people, I can only imagine this guy like actually decided to learn controller, decides to learn duelist. He's gonna be a monster.
Hmm.
And then Astroha as well. I also had him on there, and he was kind of a bit more of an enigma for me, just because he played a lot of duelists, but then randomly would just flex to something else. And I guess that's just because people that are in his lobby. But the thing is, he performed well on Chamber. He performed well on Clove. Like they're killing it on whatever they play. Except Initiator. He had like 2 Initiator games. They didn't go hot. So keep him on Sentier Duelist, and I think he's gonna fry this season. And then this one I was actually scared to put on here because it was is Plat 3 Demon Lord. I thought he might be a Mythic player, but he was still showing up for expert for me, and he pretty much MVPs any game he's on Reyna. You don't want to put him on something that's not Reyna, but I think every combine is literally Reyna MVP. So Shout out Plat 3 Demon Lord.
Gee. Well played. Well played. I mean, I try to play Reyna, but it does not work out. Like I can't. I try to ghost and I suck, and I try to suck and I ghost. It's like it's just a mess. So I switched my duelist to back to Phoenix because that was my original main before Breach. You
Those
know,
flashes are still broken, man. I'm
dude,
telling you.
way back in the day, I couldn't aim because it was the first game I played with a mouse. So the only way I could get kills was if they couldn't see me. So I would Phoenix Flash. And then I played a game against Haven. Breach had 3 flashes back then. Boom, 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 flash, 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 everywhere. I was like, holy shit, I need to switch.
Three big booms for Paco.
Mm-hmm. So there's just flashes everywhere. Oh, my mic fell. And yeah, so shout out to anyone who can play Reyna. Most people would probably say it's easy, but for me, it's hard. Now moving on to Mythic, I don't know, literally anyone. But luckily, we recruited a new member of the podcast named Tyzera, who actually is pretty good at Mythic. Some may say like one of the best. So, I might just pass the mic over to him and just agree with what he says and just say, yes, I concur. Yeah, I like that one too. That's exactly who I was thinking of, stuff like that. So
I'm curious, did either of you guys actually get to look at any of the numbers or get a look at any Mythic players during the combine? I don't even know if you guys, I don't think anybody outside of Mythic actually cares about Mythic. Do you guys actually like keep up with it or anything?
I mean,
like
I
scout,
watch the
obviously,
games.
for
Okay.
TH. I mean, I've been scouting. I was scouting last night.
Okay,
Pretty
cool.
heavy in Mythic, trying to.
Yeah, who you're scouting? Yeah, just like who did you like? Who looks good?
Well, I'd have
Whoa,
to tell you
whoa.
if I told you.
We're
Oh, my
leaking.
bad, my bad. All right, my bad.
No.
I thought worth a shot.
No, yeah.
All right,
No.
here, I'll rip some standouts to me right now. Ramsey is 999, 308 ACS across 12 games. Pure hashtag WLW, 280 ACS across 19 games. W.
Monster.
Fro hashtag Fro, 8 games, 261 ACS. Valid.
Frozen.
That's my list.
W. I mean, it's not anything wrong with that. I know you were like talking about passing the mic, but I have Pure on there. I think of those 3, there's the only one I put on there. I think Ramsey definitely deserves a shout out. I think Fro is going to be a top 5 Mythic player next season. It just depends on what team puts him on what role. I think they're definitely deserving of a shout out. I think it was a good deep cut, actually, and I don't even think you meant it to be a deep cut. Fro is a good deep cut. Expert player got moved up, and I'm telling you, he's going to be a game changer, whatever team he's on. Huge shout out, Fro.
Dude, yes, I just have the vision.
Just know too much, Paco.
Yes, dude.
Too smart, too good looking,
good.
too powerful.
I know, it's great. It's great.
I'll let Jordan go first, and I'll get into mine. I like to yap about the Mythic players.
But
Yeah, I mean, I had Ramses 999 on there as well. Pretty nutty stats. I had Twitch, Kill the Army. I mean, that player is insane. I watched the game, and the ability of starting out till the end, the progression of the adaptation was insane. And then I followed up with Atomic. Atomic, really nutty stats. Haven't got to watch Atomic play, but like I've been kind of trying to keep up with games being played, and that's definitely somebody that stood out on the stat sheet for sure. But it's kind of nice scouting Mythic because you really just sit there and you just learn so much because you see a bunch of immortals just hive mining together and in unison when they're just playing together, and it's pretty cool to see. So
It really is just a different experience. I was watching one game, and it was Atomic versus Lan, and there was Lebor in there. And there's a couple other big names. And it was something that I kind of noticed where you're exactly right. You're just learning so much, and you're watching these players get into the flow of the game. And towards the beginning of the game, I was like, man, this game is a wash. This game is like everyone's nervous. No one's playing well. This is like during the second or third day of combines. And by the end of the game, dude, I was so gassed. Like, I know I'm a scout. I wasn't supposed to be talking. I was like, guys, that was a great game. Like, as soon as the game ended, I was like, that was incredible. It was such a back and forth, and it was an OT banger. And it was just like watching these players learn and adapt to each other, and like not only to the enemy team and the way the enemy team's playing, but like everyone knows the game at a high level. And then it's not always like that during the season. Sometimes like life catches up with us, and we're for fun league, so I get that. But during these combines, when you have some of these players that are hungry to prove why they deserve to be picked up, why they deserve to be drafted, like you get some incredible games in Mythic. I think you get incredible games in all tiers, but you know, as a Mythic shill, you get some great games in Mythic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting just to hear comms of like the Mythic players. I mean, like there was one player, it was a Pearl game, and they're like, man, this team is conditioned so well on like the mid space, and like he was aware of it was happening, but like the other
Mhm.
team was still like they were so good like in the early rounds of the game to condition mid that like even though they were aware that they were conditioning it, like were so good about rotations and things like that and just util placement that like
Yeah.
they were putting all these numbers towards mid and they weren't even anywhere near it the entire time.
Right.
And it
Just the
was
illusion of pressure.
yeah, it was so cool to watch. I mean, it was an overtime game too, so I just sat there and I became a fan more than I was scouting. I forgot I was scouting at one point because I was just like, man, this is fun to watch. But
Yeah.
no, really, really talented tier with a lot of really good players. So I'm excited to see how it plays out this season with Mythic.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. Your tier list is almost identical to mine. I have Kilowatt and Atomic on there as well. And it's kind of funny. I didn't expect any of you guys to pick the three that I picked. Maybe Atomic I expected, but impressive. Paco and Jordo, I like you guys' Mythic knowledge. It's good. I want to give a shout
Hey,
out first of all
I,
to yeah, go ahead.
I literally just looked at the stats and sorted by
That's
ACS and
Andy.
just went through the three that I saw. So don't look into it.
Now they're good
But
for a reason, right? Stats do tell a story sometimes with specific players. I think in combines are so pure because it's like not to sound corny, but on some like real like blue lock stuff. I mean, you really are trying to create a goal out of zero. You're trying to create nothing, like something out of nothing, you know?
yeah,
You're playing with random players against random opponents that you've never seen or talked to. You know, the ranks aren't always like one for one. We got Radiants in there, we got Immortals, we got Ascendants, we even have a few Diamonds in Mythic. And so you have this situation where you have no idea what you're walking into. Every game's different. You might not be on the role you want to be, you might not be on the character you want to be on. It's how can you find success? How can you
yeah,
make success for yourself? And I think nobody does that better than exactly who Jordo shouted out, and that's Twitch Killua Army. This guy is a guy who, when I first watched him play, I thought, "Oh, this guy's just bad. Like, oh, he might just be bad.
Mm.
He's
Not
nervous."
where I thought you were going with that.
No, I'm not kidding. It started off as like I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, maybe he's not a good prospect, and I'm like, man, he looks like he has it. His rank stats aren't great. Like, whatever. I'll watch his game. Let's see how he does. And he picked Jet on Ascent, and I'm like, nah, this guy, he's not making this decision. He's too nervous. Like, I can see he wants to make this play, but he's not. He's psyching himself out. And like towards the I think like maybe 4 or 5 rounds later, I could actually notice him going for the plays that he wanted to go for in the first place. And I realized that he wasn't actually making a bad play. What he was doing was like, hey, this is the play I want to make. It's an aggressive peak, but I don't know how the enemy team is playing. So I
mm,
can't just swing this blindly. Let me instead fall back, play with my team. And this is what I was seeing. I was seeing him going for a play that you'd want to see your duelist make, and then he would fall back on it and he would wait. And I was like, well, is he too scared? Does he not know what he's doing? You know, what is this mind game he's playing? And I slowly, as
right.
I watched the game, realized no, he is trying to suss out the defense. He's trying to figure out where they're playing so that way by the end of the game, he knew exactly where to swing, how to swing. He was getting quote unquote lucky timings. There was nothing lucky about it. He
There's
had built,
level.
yeah, there's levels to it. I think that he's my standout. Kilo Army
I
is
like
by
that.
far the duelist that I'm watching the closest. I don't know if he's going to be the best player in the tier, but he is the player that reminds me of myself the most. I think
I
the
love that.
one thing that I found success in last season, maybe not winning, but was in doing well, was in knowing how to play my opponent, knowing where I could find success and could force and push weaknesses. And I think that's something that it really takes an experienced duelist to have. And he doesn't seem to be that experienced because I haven't seen that name anywhere. I haven't seen him in any other leagues or servers. I haven't seen many Mr. Funhavers. And so I hope, like me, this is one of his first forays into the tier 3 or tier 4 scene. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see players that I feel like I can learn from. I think last season I really didn't get that experience even from the best players in the league. And so I think this season is coming up on a different level of just, and if the combines are anything to go off of, again, we don't know what the season will look like. But
Right.
if combines are something to go off of, these kind of players get me so excited for Mythic. It's unbelievable, and I'm so excited. My next is Atomic.
I love
He's
that.
an initiator player. Absolutely fantastic monster. Statistically, one of the best, top 3 in my opinion. Is probably the most well-rounded player in the league. He plays initiator, and when you watch him play, it's not extremely flashy. It's not super fast-paced, but he just does everything right. He fights when he needs to fight. He trades when he needs to trade. He knows lineups. He knows utility. He knows his role.
Mm.
He's great on taking contact and needing to get aggressive when he needs to. Great at playing slow and defaulty when he needs to. And he never has to be told what to do. And it's so amazing to watch someone else make a call that's not necessarily the right call, and for him to find a way to make his individual playstyle fit the call and like help the team while also still making sure that he's doing the right play for himself individually. I think that he is really a rare talent, and I think this is a player as well that I'm definitely going to be watching, and somebody that I hope that I can have some great games against or with.
Love that.
The last one is I'm a duelist shield, so it's got to be Pure. Pure is another player who has gone pretty nuclear in combines, and they're a little bit of a lower rank on the totem pole, so I was kind of expecting them to flounder. They're an Immortal 1 peak on episode 9, Act 3, but they're kind of struggling in Ascendant. Maybe not struggling is a little unfair. They're just having a hard time winning an Ascendant, and I've been there before. Sometimes you can play your heart out, and you just can't find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
But that being said, in his combines, he is destroying almost everybody. He's played in some of the stacked lobbies. He played in some of the weaker lobbies, and he constantly does well. And one thing I noticed is like even when he had like a slow start to a game, because I've spectated a few of his games, he always finds a way to ramp up the aggression. And he's not a player that like if you kill him the first couple times, he's only gonna get more in your face. And that sounds like a bad thing, but when you have players like Pure who like are just relentless about it. The second you kill him or you get an advantage on him, they're like, nah, I can't let that stand. I understand it now, And he just starts running it down at you every time, and he learns from every interaction. So yeah, he might be like 0-4 for the beginning of the game, but I guarantee you by the end of that game, he's 24-4. He is a monster player, and I really like watching him play. He's also a very good aimer. And he's played a variety of duelists. He's played the Yoru, he's played the Jet, he's played the Neon, he's played the Raze, he's played the Waylay. He is by far the most versatile duelist that I've seen in terms of just like raw champion pool because he's willing to swap even in between games. He's also a bit of a grinder. Like he played a lot of combines this, and he would play like a lot back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And to be able to be comfortable with different duelist play styles and to make him work against different opponents, I thought was super outstanding. So shout out Pierre. I do think again, I don't know if the lack of high elo ranked experience will catch up to him during the season. But if his team plays anything to go off of, I think he's going to do fantastic this season. So those are definitely my top 3 in Mythic. And there's so many more deserving players. And I will give them a shout out. I think Lan is probably one of the best Sentinels in the server. Wally West, another fantastic initiator. We have so many players that are coming that deserve to be shouted out and talked about that we just don't have time for. But just know that I'm watching, I'm waiting, and I can't wait to play and learn against you guys. There's so much learning I feel like I have to do this season, and it's going to keep me on my toes, and it makes me so excited for Mythic. So shout out all the Mythic prospects.
Yeah, if you want to get more of that kind of in-depth analysis about Mythic, check out the Tyzera podcast. It is streamed on Twitch at Tyzera's Twitch. So I'll like throw a link right there. Bam. Whoa, holy shit. Words on the screen. What?
Yeah, that was my bad. That was kind of a little bit of a tangent. I just get so excited talking about the Mythic combines. It's my favorite part of the year.
Because that's like stuff that we could not supply in the past 2 seasons of the pod. So like super stoked to hear it. And hey, there's levels. There's levels to this shit, and I'm happy that you can be the supplier. So but that is our list of combine standouts for every single tier. Congrats to all those who made the list. Trust me, there are more players that we would have liked to mention, but there's only so much time, and we're still like a 40-minute interview after this. Speaking of, we're about to change clothes and teleport to the past, and interview some prospect champions from last season. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
VDC, welcome back. Sorry for the skip. Sorry for probably the clothes change too? Question mark. Maybe, I don't know. I think the wardrobe might change in this episode, but you know, a long overdue one. But you know, we have two great guests here, and champions, the final champions of the season. Not LG. Finally, thank the Lord that LG isn't on our podcast anymore. And we've got two great people. We've got Omaha and Not Emmy from L7 Prospect. You know, welcome to the pod. You know, say what's up.
Thank you for having
What's
us.
up?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
And
Hello.
congratulations, you know, firstly.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I know the new season's already starting. We got a fast-paced VDC combines and like postseason layout now. So normally there would be like 2 months for this to happen in between, but now we're rolling. So glad to have you guys as the first guests of season 8 pod, I think. So
It sounds so official and grand when you put it like that. I appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
I mean,
pod.
it's getting more high functioning. I mean, we got the socials head on our team now. You know, congratulations Paco for that too. But
Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out.
you know, yeah, you know, so VDC champions, you know, you don't get a lot of time to enjoy it, but you know, have you you know, basted in a little bit over the last couple weeks since you guys finally played and whatnot?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a lot of friends in Prospect, and I've ran the trophy check countless times on them. You have to do that. So obviously did that. Had some fun the night of, talked a little bit of trash. But yeah, it's been cool. I'm just excited to get going again on season 8. I don't know how Emmy's feeling. She's still on L7. I'm a free agent now, so different perspectives
Still
here
on the
going in.
winner's high.
Shit.
That is
No.
awesome.
No, very cool. Well, we can kind of, you know, dig into the meat of the questions here a little bit. So, you know, for any of the, you know, new viewers, new players to the VDC, L7, one of the great franchises that we've had throughout the entirety of VDC since season 1, I believe. Shout out Legend for season 1, season 2 there, one of the founders of L7. You know, and congratulations to Curbs too, a good friend of mine. You know, the first championship from L7 out of the way, and now, you know, maybe we'll start to see more from L7 here. 15 playoff appearances though, only one championship to show for it. Pretty crazy stuff, really, if you think about it. But you know, being the first championship team, what kind of made that roster stand apart from those who kind of came before you, and also kind of just the whole prospect tier in season 7? What kind of made you guys different from the rest that allowed you to, you know, finish at the top of the mountain?
Oh man, there's some historical context with this question, which me and Emmy both came into this season as DEs in season 7, so don't know that much about the history. And am I wrong that it was? I remember at the time hearing rumors that they had never had a playoff win at all. Was that untrue? I don't know if we were able to fact check that in real time here. I
I
don't know
can
what kind
fact
of.
check that right now.
It might be.
I heard
I
also
know.
it might have been Cap. It might have been Cap.
I know.
I think it's true.
Paco and I's first season,
Maybe.
they had a really good shot at winning Apprentice, and we said 2-0, nice to see ya, when they were number 1 seed in Apprentice
Oh.
season 5. So
I
I
want to say
mean,
shout out to you, but I love L7, so I can't.
no, I do too.
I can't
They're
support
a cool
that.
org. Yeah, I just have to I have to chirp here and there to my buddy Curbs and Liler. You know, shout out Curbs, Liler.
Shout out Curbs and Lilac
Shout out
for sure.
Zooter too, a really good boy of the podcast too. He's a
Dope,
Oh
homie.
yeah.
yeah, I can't
Love
forget.
all
That's
those guys.
just a cool org, man. That's an org where a bunch of, and Queenie now too. Queenie's there too. It's just a org full.
Oh wow, big to go.
Really.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
So
I don't recall a ton of L7 victories.
there was a victory when it was a 16 playoff and they made it to semis and then lost in semis. However, for you guys, if you were unaware, they have this whole thing of if they're the 1 seed, they get first rounded. And so I don't think you guys were the 1 seed. Therefore, you guys won everything. So I think it just kind of checks out. Like the math is mathing.
The curse is
Yeah.
broken, man. That's all we know.
That might have been the stat that I heard was as a 1 seed, because going into the playoffs we were expected to be the 1 seed. I mean, a few match days out, it looked like there was almost no shot we could lose it, but we found a way.
Wait,
Um,
hey,
and and there we go. The trophy rewarded us, I suppose. So
didn't
we were rewarded
L7
with the trophy.
didn't L7 Apprentice win a playoff game this season?
They might have. They were so good.
I thought they won the
Yeah.
first game
Wait,
and then they lost
who
in the
who was
semis.
even on that roster?
Or oh wait, no, they got a bye and then they lost, right? It was Liler. It was
Zeker was on there.
Zeker. Who was their Senti player? He was pretty solid.
Dude, I don't remember like anyone from that roster for some reason.
I think
I mean,
they,
obviously
I think they,
Liler,
I
but
think that they literally got beat by LG in the semis. I think they went straight to semis. You guys had
oh
to play a
yeah,
match
wait, they
against
were
LOS.
really good last season.
So I guess they didn't win a
Yep.
playoff game, did they?
Yeah, no,
I will say
Yeah.
our
That's
prospect,
crazy.
our prospect
think-
team scrimmed them one time and they beat the piss out of us. So yeah, from our perspective, they
yeah.
were incredible. But no,
Yeah.
I know they were atop the leaderboard in
Oh, it's Papa
Apprentice,
Tweak.
but
Papa Tweak was the good Senti
Oh,
player.
Papa
Papa
Tweak's a
Tweak,
demon.
yeah, no, he was kind of different.
I
There were
feel
a
bad
lot of,
now.
there were a lot of,
I just
yeah.
called them out
There
by
were a lot of
name
teams.
and like thought they won, and then now I'm calling them out because they didn't win. But damn, my bad,
Um,
guys.
Shout out L7. To go back to the question, by the way, sorry, I got us a little bit sidetracked, but as far as what actually was able to push us over the top and get us a win, I think there were a couple things. The main thing, to me, the main two pillars of our win were the very top player on our team and the very bottom player on our team. And shout out Emmy, she's on the podcast right now.
Hell yeah.
She was our lowest MMR player, almost tier min. Came in, held it down. If anyone watches any clips out of the grand finals, had an insane 4K. I think it was a 4K or 3K. Disgusting. She played out of her mind. She improved a ton over the season. And shout out to Mythic, who I think as of right now he's retired. I hope he might come back. But the best player in all of Prospect. He beat the case on the smurfing allegations at some point. I don't know if we're gonna get into that, but best player in Prospect. So the very top, I mean, we had the best shooter, and then at the very bottom, she was holding it down, and so we could always rely on her as our Senti. So that's how I feel. That's why I feel like we won. I mean, not to take away from anyone else on the team. Univeth and Kronos also incredible players. I mean, they of course it goes without saying.
That was a great series. It was an entertaining one to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, do you have anything to pitch into that?
I will say, I think it was like a team chemistry thing. Like our Rays, which is Omaha, played really well with our play style. Like whenever we wanted him to satchel in and just take site, he would do it, no questions asked, no hesitation. He would just be in there already. And then Kronos, like really patient with us, even when like sometimes we wouldn't hear the calls or wouldn't listen to them. He would just keep on calling. I know it's discouraging for IGLs because I've heard other IGLs say it's really discouraging when people don't listen to their calls, but he kept on like IGLing even through that. And Univeth, I will say, like
Clutch
Univeth,
demon.
yes. Like other than like if he's in a clutch situation, he will always win. Personally, as a Sentinel, he played really well off of me. Like I would call there might be somebody on site and immediately he'd smoke it. Or like if they're pushing in, he immediately try to trade me because like obviously I'd die first. But like yeah, it was really nice having that backup in Univeth. And Medic obviously just cracked aimer, the
Yeah.
best prospect player. So I think it was just good team chem, good play style meshing.
With Uni, you have the owner buff because
True.
the VDC owner. But it's funny that you say that, because with every championship team that we have like spoken to, it always at the end of the day comes down to the team chemistry, and like I think that's what makes VDC so hard. And I think Ty can probably like pitch into this as well is like what makes it challenging is that you don't get to carry over the same team. Very rarely do you get to carry over the same team season into season. So when you're drafting like brand new players every season, like you might be throwing off some chemistry that you had in the previous season. And then like for example, me and Jordan season 5 made it to the grand finals and we were like, oh my god, like this is great. And then the next season we finished last place. Like we just didn't have the
Yeah.
same team chemistry that we
That's
had
why I
in
took
the
off from
previous
L7.
season. Right.
No, I agree.
Get me.
I
I'm
think
just
that's probably one of the biggest things that you can account for when you're making these teams, and it's hard in VDC, I think specifically because you have this situation where you think you're going to be able to come in with 5 players, but because it's a draft league, it has that unique experience that not many other servers really have, and that you're going to be playing with a random set almost every season. And like even if you have returning players, it's only going to be 1 or 2 most likely. Because players have different things moving on, they want to play different games, they got IRL stuff, or even if they just want different players, the organization wants different players. So I think that's a huge thing for you guys to have so much synergy and have that kind of trust in your caller, and for your caller to have that kind of trust in you. I love that.
I think that was like the biggest thing in prospect here that separated kind of like the top end from the middle of the pack, like with you and Cha. I think like you guys both had really good IGL and like just coordination, like behind like trusting the plan. Like I'm good friends with Barely Ethan on Cha, and I know he was really well respected among the team as far as like IGLing. And then it's good to hear on your guys' end too. I mean, you could tell too. It was like back and forth like throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't tell exactly who was going to come out on top there just from watching it as like an AGM that was just appreciating good Valorant. And I think it kind of shows like how I just feel like from when I first came in season 5 till now, like prospect tier, like it's just getting so much like more competitive to where it's like I think there's a lot of prospect players that are on the top end teams that could probably go and play in an apprentice roster and slot in just fine.
I think just to touch on that one specific point, I think I lost the Zero who wasn't even on our final roster. Kronos is now Apprentice. Mythic, if he wasn't Apprentice, he would be Expert. And then also, I believe Univeth just got moved up to Apprentice. So it's just me and Emmy down here lonely. You guys got the bottom of the barrel here, I guess. But everyone else got moved up, and they deserve it, man. They all played great.
You guys are just holding it down for prospect.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Reliable, good old reliable. So we've kind of talked about Kronos and Elwano being just like crazy players already, but like despite like having just nuts players, you have Uni, Clutch God, Omaha, crazy duelist Grays who loves to talk and will keep the vibes high, and then Naomi holding it down. What was there any like adversity that you guys had to deal with like throughout the season that that you could say that you fought through and made you guys stronger, that brought you to the grand finals or the playoffs or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, 100%. I think early on, because when we started the season, our roster with the Zero on IR, we had Nova or Below Zero, which I know you guys playing Apprentice, you might know him. I think he did pretty well when he got.
I picked him up on my roster.
Okay, there you go.
Played with us.
Him up as an AGM.
Yeah, he started on our team, and when we had him on the team, I was at the beginning of the season the primary fragger, so it was like a responsibility shift where at the beginning I felt like if I didn't frag out, we were gonna have a problem as the duelist, and then as we shout out Nova, as we moved on and we got Desir in for like 1 game or something before his injury made it so it couldn't be, and then we ended up with Medic. I could see that Kronos was always a better shooter than me, and then for sure Medic or Desir were, and so I kind of took on the role of just creating space instead, and we kind of had to swap the dynamic around a little bit, but they made it easy because they're just insane players. And
that's crazy. He wasn't even. He was a KC player, wasn't he? Owano originally, right? And then was dropped.
Yeah. He
was.
Yeah. So he was drafted by KC, and they ended up cutting him during preseason because I think it was an MMR budget issue. I don't know. I'm good friends with one of the players on KC, so we've had some conversations. But I think they had only played with him one time, and he dominated that one time. And they were telling me stories about how good he was, but he wasn't playing with them often enough, so they ended up going with somebody else just to fit the MMR.
Probably Hushu or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know if that,
Probably.
it was him versus Hushu necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah.
They ended up choosing somebody else, so he was a free agent all season, and we tried him out for one game. I think he went like 24-3, and we're like, yeah, I think this is our guy. I think this might be our guy. So
Performances like that make it easy, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you're coming
And
home,
I
Emi.
mean, personality-wise as well, I mean, I'm a yapper. I talk a ton, and our actual IGL who calls most of the strats, Kronos, is doing a lot of talking, and Mythic, he's just there. He'll say yes, how high if you tell him what to do, and he's gonna get the first kill 90% of the time if he's taking the context. So he made it really easy to fit in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then one last thing on the adversity, and I'll let Emmy try to add something in here. I don't want to go too long, but one last thing on the adversity is I mentioned it earlier, and we don't, I don't know how too deep we want to go in on this, but obviously during the playoffs. We woke up day of our playoff game. We find out Mythic caught a ban for an allegation. They ended up getting reverted, but we did have to play one playoff game or one playoff series without Mythic, and so we brought Desir back in off of IR, and he hadn't played in a long time. But we said, you know what, we still think you're the guy. And he had still been active with the team though. Desir was always in there talking with us, hyping us up and everything. So we're like, it's time. So off the injured reserve, came in questionable or doubtful. Had a great series, honestly. I mean, I think we came back 6-11 on split, being down a map in that series. It was great, but having to get the win without Mythic, who was, nobody's gonna say he wasn't our best player. He was our best player hands down. So yeah, I definitely had to overcome that.
I
I mean, I
forgot
don't know if
that
you have anything else to add.
was a
Or sorry,
prospect
go ahead.
player.
Really?
Dez is
Yeah.
frying an Apprentice right now based on combine stats. I looked him up the other. I think he's at a 1.4 KD in Apprentice. So
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
he's
yeah.
cooking. He's cooking.
Yeah,
He's
I
a beast.
forgot he was even a prospect. I play with him all the time, like in a different server we play World of Tanks together.
Oh yeah, he's a big World of Tanks guy. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Deer.
Dude,
Yeah.
we play with him all the time, man. He's
I
so
love
fun.
Deer. He's
forgot that
cool.
he
He's really
was-
cool. Yeah.
Dude, when Curbs, no, I think it was Liler. Liler like told me that he was a big World of Tanks guy, or at least used to be, and I was like, dude, like, cause me and Jordo and like some of my IRL, or one of my IRL friends, like have a Discord server. So I was like, yeah, I hit him up. I was like, yeah, I hear you play World of Tanks. Like, let's play. And so I told Curbs about it, and he was like, don't play with him too much. Like, I don't want to. He already has wrist issues. Like chill. Like, I don't want you fucking it up. Like,
Yeah. Well, okay. So one last quick little story about that before I let Emmy speak, or we go, or whatever we want to talk about next. After the first 4 match days, we had Nova, and we ended up moving on. Because and the reason we moved on, Desir was on IR. He was our first round pick. I think he was second overall or third overall. I think second pick overall in the draft. When he was off IR, it was time to bring him in. Somebody had to go. But we brought him in, and the first series in, he realized his wrist was not okay to go. So he played the game for us, and we ended up coming out with, I think, a 1-1 series. I think he caught a map ban for the first game, but he could play the second game of the series. And it was a crazy comeback against Chaos Theory, like 2-10 on Pearl, and he played out of his mind. Throughout the season, off of 1 game sample size, I think he was the top rated player. I mean, he played great, but he couldn't keep playing. He said, "Guys, you know what? I shouldn't have played this one. I didn't have the heart to tell you before, but like my wrist is not okay." And so we had to put him back on IR. But I mean, he played a great game, and we got the dub there. So shout out again to Zir. Yeah.
That's truly the injured reserve there for Dez. I mean,
Yeah, literally. Yeah, not an active reserve,
Nice
injured
day
reserve
for
for him. Yeah.
that's awesome. Emmy, do you have any thoughts?
No, I pretty much touched on it. There was like a shaky moment there where we didn't have Dez and we didn't really know who was gonna come in. So when when Medic fragged out that game, afterwards, I remember all of us were like, all right, Medic, please join. Please join. Our AGM is going to contact you right now. Please reply. We're going to sign you immediately.
Yep. He
Oh,
he
that's
filled in
awesome.
perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, coming in, like, before you guys picked up Medic, I mean, like, where were you guys sitting in, like, the standings? Were you guys still near the top, or were you guys
So
in the middle
I
of the pack?
remember, yeah, I remember coming in. So with Nova on the team before he left, we were 5-3. I think we were third in the standings, so we were still doing good even with Nova, you know. But we knew what Desir was capable of, and obviously we found out what Medic was capable of when he had to fill in, because we couldn't go back to Nova after he had already been cut. So at that point, you know,
Yeah.
we had the sub in, and but yeah, we were doing okay, but we weren't like a top level team at that point. And I think as the season went on, we kind of continued to improve.
No, cool
Nice.
deal.
Yeah.
Please tell me I
Well,
was muted for that sneeze.
yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
You raped everybody, or it was
Bless you.
or it's muted.
You're good. You're good.
I should mute whenever I cough because that's like twice now.
You can't even
Um,
hardly hear it. It just sounds like you're laughing like goofy, like you're like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, like, yuck, yuck.
Yeah, you got that. Dan turned into goofy there for a second.
Okay, so don't hate me. Are we on question 5 or 6?
5.
five.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your opponent was in grand finals, was no joke in the CHA, led by MVP of the tier, Wea. Was there any prep on your end going into that? Was that matchup something that you guys were focused on, or was Wea just kind of another player for you guys?
I have things to add. I don't. I mean, do you have anything to start with before I start yapping? Because I'm a yapper. I feel like I've taken over a
Wea
lot.
was not just another player. Wea was the end boss. He was, Cha in general was a raid boss. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you guys
They
run into
were.
any
They were.
strategy specifically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So I can get into at least one specific thing that I remember us doing. So shout out Barely Ethan. Definitely one of the best IGLs on all of Prospect. He cooked up a lot of things. Our read on Chaos Theory in particular was their typical go-to play on in any given map. You know, this isn't any specific map, but they would contact one site as 5. Maybe they would have a lurker, and if they get the pick on that site, they're gonna speed up and hit the site immediately. If they don't get a pick, they're gonna back out and rotate sites. That was their go-to. That was like the bread and butter for them. So we knew to expect that on any given map. We were ready for that.
and did you know
And
that from just previous play, like games played against them, or were you guys like VOD reviewing some of their games? You guys watch like some of their streams outside of it, or?
it was a little bit of both, yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Definitely remembered that happening in our matches, and we also noticed it in the VOD. So we knew it was a consistent thing.
And did
So
you guys
that's
have a
one thing we.
coach going into that series as well to like help you guys kind of look for specific like things to punish, or were you guys taking it on a more casual approach?
We did not have a yeah, no, we didn't have a coach or anything. I know Kronos did a lot of things outside of the game to help us prep.
Mhm.
He's on Valorant cooking things up, and you know he had some ideas about things. And also
Love the hard
shout out,
workers.
yeah, 100%, 100%, and he could shoot too. I mean, Kronos is the
Yeah.
goat.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah. And then also Bomber, the one of the AGMs, he was the most involved with Prospect on L7 last season. I think he's on GG now.
Yeah, the GM of
I don't.
GG.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Oh
Bob.
yeah, he is
And he did.
GM.
And he
Yes,
deserved it. He
sir.
deserved it. He worked harder than any other GM. I mean, all of the GMs on L7 were great, but Bomber with us specifically in Prospect worked the most closely. And he helped us cook up some things too. So he was pretty involved with us, and he was a huge help. So shout out Bomber. Love Bomber.
I love to hear that as a current GG member now. That was one of the biggest questions I had was who's Bomber?
Yeah,
Yo,
no,
Bomber is the
Bomber's
best.
great.
Y'all are
Bomber's
lucky to
the best.
have him.
100%.
God bless. Shout out Bomber.
Yeah,
I don't
Bomber's like
know.
a-
I don't know how much this
Go.
is leaking, but I remember last season when we were doing GM interviews, like we loved Bomber's interview when seeing like, oh, do we need any more new franchises? You know, and we were like, but he had no GMing experience, so we just like, you know, we didn't want to just throw him to the wolves, so we were like, you know, get some AGM experience. he got that in surplus. Like it seems like he
So,
did an excellent
was
job.
this his
And
first
so
season as a GM or AGM at all?
yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
wow.
okay. Based on everything I heard within L7 as an org, is he did the majority of the scouting for Prospect, and he was also the most involved with the actual strats and helping us in Prospect, and he got a trophy.
That's
So
awesome.
shout out
Yeah,
Bomber.
yeah.
Bomber's the GOAT for real.
It's
Yeah.
looking like he's gonna carry on the OS legacy.
Hell yeah.
I hope GG does well. I mean, I'm a free agent
Yeah,
right
me
now.
too.
I'm not picking any sides right now, but for Bomber's sake, I hope that they do well in general for sure.
Go TH. I mean, what?
I do also have one other thing to add on that question about counter stratting. On map 5 bind, we did go to game 5 in the grand finals, and we had a read that and a shout out to me because we had a read. It wasn't my read. It wasn't my read, but we knew they would always Viper wall on.
Oh.
God, I haven't played bind in a while. They would always Viper wall A. Yeah, A. And they would go up short and try to take lamps control. And so I've never in my life purchased a shorty in round 1 of pistols. And in our series versus them, when they were on T side, I was told to get the shorty out and sit there in lamps, and Ethan walked right into me, got the kill on him, ended up grabbing
is
another
awesome.
gun, getting another kill, and we won the round off of it. My team held
Wow,
down the
dude.
side behind me, but yeah, we had the hard read. So, and it wasn't my read, so I'm not taking credit. But shout out to my team because yeah, we had that down.
You made it sound like it was because you were like, "Shout out to
Ah,
me,"
me.
and
I landed the two shorties, dude.
I didn't know that me meant
still had
like
to shoot him.
Emmy off rip. So I was like, "Oh, hey, shout out myself." I was like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it made
he
sense. It checked out.
Yeah.
Ethan had the same kind of play calling style from what I'm hearing that he had in another league that he was one of my players and teammates on, where we won a championship on bind. They were very much would throw the Viper wall in that same place, the lurk wall in front of
Yep.
teleporter. Yep. So
That's the one,
not
yeah.
a lot's changed there, Ethan. You know, maybe cook some more this season. You know.
Shout out to Ethan. I love Ethan. He's a
I
great
do
dude.
too.
I love
He's
Ethan.
a
No,
great guy. Great
I
guy.
I know him IRL, so
Oh, dope.
cool guy.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's came down and visited. Cool guy. So really chill dude. You know, kind of building up that, you know, you have a really exciting first round, map 5. You get that double kill, kind of gets the momentum going early in map 5. You know, then, you know, final round happens, you see victory pop up on that screen. You know, how did you guys as a team feel? How did you feel individually whenever you realized like, oh, we're officially the first L7 champions and the first and we're prospect champions just in general? Like, you know, what was the feeling like there?
Which was better for you?
Oh,
Mm,
that's a good question. That's a
question.
good follow up. I mean, if you want to start, I'll piggyback off what you have to say.
Hold on. Which between what two is better?
Oh, between being the
Uh,
first L7 champion or being the prospect champion, like to you individually, what was more important to you? I guess.
Oh,
Better answer that carefully. Your boss might hear this.
wait. Um, L7, yay! You're doing for
You're
L7.
doing great, Emmy. You're doing great.
No,
Great you are.
the feeling is actually unmatched. It's so different from like just winning a regular comp game or anything like that. I legitimately felt like Faker in the World Finals. Not gonna lie.
I believe you.
Faker, what was that?
With that 4K, Emmy, you
Yeah.
kind of were Faker. At least for a round, you were. On game.
Yeah,
That was
you
crazy.
turned
Yeah.
into Prime Faker on the Zed play mid in the World Finals.
No, that's Prime Wea. I turned into Wea for a round.
I'm weird.
Shout out
Yeah.
Wea, great player though. They were, I mean, they're doing really well right now in expert as well, from what I've been seeing.
We as
so.
a demon, and I promise, I mean no offense to Wea when I say this, Gemjosh might be better than him. I mean their team
Oh.
was crazy.
Yeah,
Gemjosh, I
fired.
think, finished the
of
season
talent.
with maybe better stats. I don't know
I think
how
he
the
was
stats played out, but
runner-up
they were.
MVP, I think, actually. think everyone
I
got
think
number
that
2
remember.
almost.
I think that might have been Axie, but
It might
I'm
have
not
been 1,
sure.
2, and 3. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm numbers. I can't really remember.
Oh yeah, you would know. Yeah.
But I think
Fair.
it was like I know that one community at least, and one won the actual MVP trophy. So I mean, like
Yeah.
they both got their flowers at the end of the day. But I think they're at least both of them are in the top 3 for sure. I think in voting because I don't think
Cool.
your teammate had enough maps. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think Ep1 had
Medic,
enough
and
maps.
I remember because
Oh,
I've
change the map.
seen.
Count. Sorry. Personal.
You're good. I know. Shout out to Sarah for that. I've seen your
I
guys'
I can't
podcast
leak
before.
anything, but I think.
If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I've seen the pod, and I know there was an episode that you guys did on the pod where you were talking about the best players in Prospect, I believe. And I know the timing of this episode came out right when the Smurf allegations were going on. So I
Yeah.
think you guys weren't able to include Medic in there, so he was
Exactly.
snubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone knows, if he had the map count, Medic, he was him.
Mm-hmm. He had like a
And so
1.87 KD or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
just
nuts.
I was like, who
insane.
is
That's
this guy,
crazy.
dude? I was looking, I was talking to Curbs, I'm like, who the hell do you have on your prospect team?
Yeah, no, he
Like,
could compete in
Jesus.
the minimum expert tier for sure, aim wise. I don't know, where
Well,
he would fit in
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
as
Well,
far as strategizing goes, but
he went there for a couple short, long-lasted seconds, so like a day or so, and then was moved back.
yeah, he took a little trip. He took a
Yeah, he
little
took a
trip.
trip, a little journey, and and then he finished grand finals champion. So it all worked out for him there.
I think
Yeah,
that's kind of an
but
interesting topic, though. I think it ties back into the question is with WIA, obviously a lot of players can have a fantastic game, or some people have fantastic game sense, or even sometimes just IGLing. Was there something specifically that you guys looked for in WIA into that matchup that you guys were super worried about? Like, oh, hey, we know he's going to win this aim duel if he gets this, but like you said, you kind of mentioned a little bit how if you guys didn't find a pick earlier, they didn't find a pick, they would just rotate sites.
mhm.
Was there anything like player specific that you knew was a weakness of his that you guys tried to exploit through there?
Yeah,
Good question.
that is a good question. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but our read on the situation was that the way that they took site is because I'm sure everyone knows, or anyone in Prospect at least knows, he's a Gecko one trick. And so we know he's on Gecko every map. And
Wait,
the way
he's
that
putting those
they,
numbers on Gecko? Wait, he's him.
yeah, no, he is
Yeah.
him. Wea is him. Wea is an
Yeah,
incredible player.
the
I don't know how he's
sheriff,
doing an expert right
the
now,
sheriff
but
first round buy with like just the flash, no other util.
yeah, no, we as a demon, and yeah, again, shout out to Gem Josh, he's also a demon. But we know our read on the situation was if they're hitting a site, they don't typically fully commit to the site. They would play a little bit off and have wingmen go into plant. So if we could stop the wingman util when they send it in, we would force them to come into the site and hit it as a team, which I don't think is their typical plan. I'm not saying they would be bad at it. They're all
Right, but you
good
guys were setting
players.
up a
So
trap play. That was
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
So that was our read on it. I don't know if that was right, but we got the trophy, so
No,
obviously
I think
that
it's
worked
smart.
out.
It
Yeah.
worked
'cause you
out.
were-
Yeah.
I think you did a good job of not like over-respecting the player. I think that's something that happens a lot with a lot of players. Is you guys knew that you guys were good enough to win that, and you guys were going into the mentality with you guys that you could win that
Yeah.
through strategy. And I think that's something important that we should kind of spread to a lot of teams. Is that you guys can't be afraid of who you're facing. Like you guys can counter strat, anti strat. I think that was a perfect way. You guys weren't even worried about his individual skill. You just knew that hey, if he's playing Gecko, his agent has to plant. They don't like to contact in. They like to wingman it, right? So just to set that trap play note, hey, hard focus the wingman. We kind of had a similar problem when there was a comp issue where we had a specific comp that a specific team that I won't mention was running that was very cringe. And we had to do the same thing where we're like, hey, we have to force out this ability and we have to do anything to bait it out. So I would literally send 4 of my teammates to the opposite side and then just try and bait out utility by letting them know I'm using Ray's utility or something like that. But I just love hearing anti-stratting like that. I think that's such a cool aspect from a grand finalist team that ended up winning the whole thing. Like that was a play that got you guys a trophy.
Sure,
I think what you mentioned too, like about not overvaluing a player on the other side, like this season or this past season, okay, like there were some demons in the tier, just like how there's demon in every tier. Like in Apprentice, it was Slater, it was Kid from Akron, Drag. I know I'm forgetting some, but those are just like the ones that are speaking to me right now.
I think you're one of
And
the people too. I would think.
I mean right. So I was getting to that point, but like I feel like sometimes you just gotta go into every game like I'm just him. You know, like I don't care who, like I remember our first game against OS, and I was like, all I heard was the kid from Akron this, kid from Akron that, kid from Akron's the go. Oh my God, he's so good. Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I guess I'm about to find out, but I know I'm good, so I'll go
Shout
into
out
it
to
and
him.
just see
Shout out to him.
whatever's
Yeah,
going
shout out
on.
Kid
So,
Yeah.
so
I think it's,
What was he
How'd that
him or
game go, by
not?
the way?
Yeah, was he him?
he was good. He was good, but it was nothing
Yeah.
that like I felt like it was nothing that I couldn't handle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like
Yeah.
that's the way that you got to treat it. Is like there might be a demon on another team, but at the end of the day, you got to
You're here for a
know
reason.
deep down that you're gonna be able to take whatever they could try and give you. So
Here was my main thought process regarding the demon, by the way, is that demon has nothing on the other 3 demons that I was already dealing with, which was Medic was a demon, biggest demon in the lobby. Kronos was a
Right.
demon, and then like my internal demons. Like he's number
Yeah.
4 on the list.
yeah, I love that.
We had bigger fish
Yeah.
to fry, but no, he was cracked for sure.
Yeah. I think it's like, I don't know about anybody's background necessarily, but I feel like I kind of take like my sports mentality into like, and like what I thought when I was like pitching against like high level competition. Like if Mike Trout stepped into the box, like I was gonna go on there and try to strike Mike Trout out. Like, he might hit a home run 9 out of 10 times, but it's like, like if you don't, if you have any ounce of like not believing in yourself when you're taking like a gunfight in Val or something like that, for example, like you're gonna lose like a lot of them, because like that little bit of doubt takes away from your confidence, and confidence is like
So true.
everything whenever you're like swinging in Valorant, or really anything that you do in life. If you don't have confidence in yourself, like, and you don't believe yourself,
Yeah.
you're already knocking yourself down a few percentage points from like what your actual performance would probably be. I mean,
100%.
like, I don't know. I just feel like that's how it is. I mean, I got moved up to expert, and like Kurumi, unreal player, like Eon, a couple players that were like at the higher end of the league, and like I don't care. Like I'll shoot who I mean, Tyzera could have popped into one of my matches, and I know Tyzera would set me down 10 times out of 10, but like I'm gonna swing him 10 times out of 10.
I'm with you,
Yeah.
man. I think that's the
Yeah.
mentality you have to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like either you have like the shit on or get shit on mentality. Like I think if you like over respect somebody too much, we're like, oh, I think there's like a fine line between like being overconfident and like being like smart about it, to where
Right.
like like, okay, we is capable of these things if like we swing together as a team, or like we don't take like stupid 50-50 gunfights most of the time, you're going to come out of that trade happy. Like, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes where like they could flick and headshot both people, but
Yep.
it's like a calculated risk versus like there's definitely a fine line for sure. I think there's a lot of people that are
Yeah.
overconfident in VDC, I will say too, that I think like kills them a little bit too. Like, and
Yeah.
that's why you see some some teams that have really good players that don't even make playoffs, like ultimately too. It's like there's like
Yeah.
a fine line. Obviously, there's other dynamics that go into it, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
mean,
That's
you
my
have to
that's my
be
spiel.
for sure. Yeah, no, and I agree 100%. You have to be like a little bit realistic about it, but I will say it was not a VDC approved stream, but my stream was linked because I did stream the grand finals from my perspective. And to hype my team up and give us confidence, I did say some things that I might not necessarily believe about the Chaos Theory team at the time. To give us a little more confidence in playing into them. I might have gassed us up a little bit and tore them down a little
That's
bit
awesome.
at the time. But you have to hype your team up. You have to be confident. It's a
That's
big
the
part of
point
the
of a
game.
pep
Big part of
talk.
the game.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
something that's kind of cringe that I say to my team a lot is that, like, at the end of the day, there's nobody in my mind that you can convince me is better at moving this mouse on a piece of plastic than me. You know what I mean? At the
Okay,
end
yeah.
of the day, like, we are moving a mouse a couple centimeters. It could be Tens himself. You cannot convince me that he's gonna move it better than I'm able to.
I don't move mine. I play on a trackball, but
Oh, okay,
I get
just
the
different.
sentiment. I get the
No
sentiment.
shit. You
Yeah.
play on a trackball?
Was that real? Is that
Yeah.
real?
Yeah, it's my mouse right here. It doesn't move at all. I just move the ball
Wait,
here with
you're
my thumb.
different.
That
I
is
knew a player like
crazy.
that.
Nah, you might be the greatest VDC player of
Yeah,
all time.
actually. Well,
Dude,
your stock just went up in my book.
that might have been the craziest like reveal of my entire life that I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding.
Dude,
He won, bro, and he won. I'm swapping now.
Crazy. That is crazy.
I think
Holy shit.
yeah, a lot of the prospect players I think I already know. You know, it's came up a few times, but yeah, no. I grew up with a trackball, so
Crazy,
that's
what
just where
the
I'm at
fuck?
right
Yeah,
now.
that is crazy. That's the craziest
Bro's
thing I've
just
ever
sitting
heard.
there, not even moving his arm. He's just sitting there like, yeah, get shit on, and it doesn't even look like he's
Uh,
doing anything.
Dude, you need to get to the desk.
100%.
Like, you can't have
we
wrist
joked about
issues.
that.
Like, yeah.
We did joke about that. We
That'd be
did.
funny if he was like using like an, you know, like those like crab claw like ergo mouses. Like that'd be funny if he'd have pulled one of those out. And he's like, I use like an ergo mouse, and it's like with like the little U-shaped ones. That'd have been nuts. Oh
That's
man, that's
nuts, man.
crazy.
That's nuts.
But yeah, you know, do you guys, you know, kind of like getting back onto the, you know, flow of things here? You know, do you guys have any last remarks? I mean, you're the champions. This is your platform to be able to, you know, talk your shit a little bit. I mean, Omaha, I know you're a free agent. Maybe you can market yourself a little bit. You know, use the platform to your advantage here. So, you know, I'll give the floor to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing I want to jump back to just for the last question, I didn't fully respond, but if you want to see how hyped I was, I mean, if you can find the VOD anywhere, if any footage gets posted, we were screaming when we won the game, but there's a VOD somewhere. I don't know where. As far as last remarks, hyping ourselves up, I mean, yeah, I think the way that grand finals played out, there, you know, with Medic smurfing allegations, there's some other stuff going on in the prospect league at the time. There are people who feel we didn't deserve the win, and that's okay. You know, the trophy's gonna stay there forever regardless, and that's fine. And I
Tell 'em.
also know my team can back it up. You know, I did have two shooters with incredible aim that are better than 95% of prospect on their own. But at the end of the day, I have and still have the best raise util in all of prospect. Listen, my aim is ass. I'm sorry. This is what I'm working with, dude. What do you want me to do? The raise util, you're not going to beat that. And I was also doing a lot of the mid-round calming for the team. So you can take away what you want to take away, but the trophy will be there. And I know Chaos Theory, and shout out again Ethan. He's out for revenge this year. He's still in prospect. I know he's looking to cook up a team and compete again. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
That's awesome.
100%.
Oh, very cool. Emmy, you got any last remarks here?
Last remark. Omaha, you're dead to me for leaving L7. Can't believe you betray us like that.
I was officially and formally cut from the team. We don't have to elaborate further.
They found out how to use a trackpad, bro.
Yeah. Curb sent him a message and said, I think you'd be better off playing what's that one game? StarCraft or something. You can get that nice little scroll going with the mouse pad, you know, nice little chill.
Curbs did jokingly bribe me with a new mouse if we won finals.
That's
But
funny.
listen, this thing is not going anywhere. It's never gonna go anywhere. Look, I'll get
That's a
the
championship
trophy
winning
with
one,
it,
though.
and
Why
I'll
would
get
you?
10th place with it this season if I need to. It's not going anywhere.
You just gotta watch out for
love
the
that you're
you
willing to
gotta,
die on that hill, man.
you gotta watch out for the desk slams if you ever do them. You know, that ball, the trackpad ball might fall out of the mouse and then now you're
I've
chasing
lost the
around
ball a
playground.
few times. It goes rolling across the floor. You gotta
You
like, rinse
just stick it
off.
back in? That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta pop it in. Yeah, it comes
That's
out.
nuts.
Yeah, the
Dude,
ball
because like
itself comes out.
Brand loyalty is crazy. Respectful.
I
Shout out Logitech,
I
not
also
sponsored.
used to play with a bum ass mouse. Like it was like this HP Office mouse, like, you know, 2 buttons, and they weren't even buttons. They were just extension of the entire top plate basically. And I hit diamond with that mouse. I was like, I will never replace this mouse. Well, some things happen. You get a little frustrated at Valorant. A little slam of the desk happens, and
And you break
all
that
of a sudden I
fucking
need a new mouse. What? I don't know what happened, but
I
so
wish-
I thought I was gonna die with that mouse, and now I'm rocking this other one, this Logitech one, and you
I
know,
wish the viewers could
here we
hear
are.
your clips where you can hear that thing scraping on your wooden desk. You just hear it in the background.
Yeah, dude,
It's wet.
the bottom of it completely fried. Like there's nothing. It was just
They're
those
so
are the
good.
days.
Love that.
But yeah, you know, thank you guys again for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. You know, best of luck coming up in this season and prospect, both of you. You know, I'll be looking out for Emmy to see if Emmy can run it back on L7, you know, and we'll be on the lookout to see, you know, where Omaha ends up landing for his new home, and can he run it back somewhere else, you know, the Omaha effect. So
Possible.
I appreciate you guys having us. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's great.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank
I
you.
enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, and thank you for
Yeah.
coming on the short notice too. I think I reached out today or yesterday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, cool deal.